Welcome back to Rosetta Tone's Deciphering Music Theory series, episode number 8. Last video, we focused on creating chords inside of a key signature. This week, we'll be taking a look at chord progressions and some of the different ways you can sequence these chords together. A chord progression is a series of chords which are usually repetitive. Normally, each chord has a function or a role to play in the progression. We assign chords a Roman numeral based on their role in a key. If we look at the chords in C major, we have a variety of major, minor, and diminished chords. We first label each chord based on where it is in the scale. The first chord would be Roman numeral 1, the second Roman numeral 2, and so on. After we do this, we then have to decide if each chord is supposed to be capitalized or not. If the chord is major, then the Roman numeral should be uppercase. If the chord is minor, it should be lowercase, and if the chord is diminished, then it should be lowercase with a small circle. Roman numerals allow us to easily identify each chord's role regardless of what key we are in. The 5 chord in A major has the same job as the 5 chord in F major, even though they are not the same chord. The goal of a chord progression is to get back to the 1 chord, also called the tonic chord. You can describe each chord with a certain function such as tonic, dominant, subdominant, or non-dominant. The further away you move from the tonic chord, the more tense things get. If you are staying in one key, this would be either the 5 chord or the 7 chord. Both of these chords share very few notes with the tonic chord and want to resolve to the tonic. The major 5 chord uses the 7th scale degree, also called the leading tone, which wants to move up to the tonic. If you decided to use chords outside of the key, then this would make the song even tenser since they probably share even fewer notes with the tonic chord. Both the 5 and 7 chords are dominant chords. The 2 and 4 chords are subdominant chords. These typically either move to a dominant chord or resolve to the tonic. Subdominant chords can have a smoother resolution to the tonic compared to dominant chords, which can be more abrupt. Finally, the non-dominant chords are the 3 and 6 chords. Because of how many notes they share with the tonic chord, they sound sort of similar, even if they are minor instead of major, and vice versa. In classical and jazz music, it was very common to go from a subdominant chord to a dominant chord to the tonic. In classical music, this might be 4 to 5 to 1. And in jazz, this would usually be 2 to 5 to 1. An example of this would be AC/DC's You Shook Me All Night Long, which is in the key of G major. Or Ed Sheeran's Perfect in A-flat major.
I found a love for me. Well, darling, just dive right in and follow my lead.
Although both rock and pop still use this chord progression, it's much more common to move from the 4 chord to the 1 chord. What might be the most popular example is Journey's Don't Stop Believing, which is in E major. Or Taylor Swift's Champagne Problems in C major. The 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords are so popular in modern music that they've been used as the basis of entire songs by the Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, U2, Taylor Swift, Imagine Dragons, and Jason Derulo. In pop and rock music today, it's much more common to use the same 4 chords from the major key for both major and minor keys. If you were in A major, these chords would be A major, D major, E major, and F sharp minor. If you want to write a song in a minor sounding key, you would make F sharp minor the first chord in the progression. This happens in Toto's Africa, which uses a chord progression of F sharp minor, D major, A major, and E major. One final thing to note is that in minor keys, sometimes the 5 chord will be major instead of minor. This is done by borrowing from the harmonic minor scale, which has a sharp 7th scale degree, making the 5 chord major. Many songs today use only a few chords, but a progression can be as long or as short as you want it to be. Of course, everything we talked about are just guidelines, not rules, and you can combine chords any way you choose. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below or send me a message. Thanks!